At Asia, first of all, markets pretty much wrapped up their trading for this Monday, and after a good start, they ended up slipping back, and that was despite some good news on the Chinese economy. But as you can see there, only Shanghai barely managing there to make some gains. The Japanese market closed. It's a public holiday there today. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the European markets. They've only been open about 15 minutes. And as you can see, managing to make some gains there at the start. The London FTSE 100 doing the best so far, up 0.4%.
Staying in the UK, the main body representing business leaders there is setting out its reasons for Britain to stay in the European Union.
Yes, that's right, Sharon. Of course, this is a big debate in the UK that's going to rumble over the next few years, probably. But this is the Confederation of British Industry, the CBI, which, as you say, represents industry and bosses in particular. Now, they have come out, it's their conference starting today, and they've come out and said that they are very in favour of Britain remaining a member of the EU. And in fact, they've put some numbers around that. They say that the membership is worth 73 to 92 billion euros to British businesses. Well, of course, Prime Minister David Cameron has promised that he's first going to try to renegotiate the terms of Britain's membership and then put it to a referendum by 2017. Well, the CBI saying that they clearly think that people should vote in favour, and they say their members agree. This is a survey that they carried out. 78% they say of the businesses they spoke to want to stay in the EU. Just 10% want to leave.
Well, here in France, we've seen lots of debates recently over shops opening on Sunday. It also seems to be a big issue in Greece.
That's right. Greece, it seems as well. It's sparked as much debate as it has here. Shops are open in Athens yesterday, and plenty of shoppers took to the streets there and seemed to be happy to do so. But not everybody is happy about the new shopping rules, as Julia Seeger now reports.
It's Sunday, and Athens' shopping district is packed. But a few blocks away, about 500 shopkeepers marched in protest of the recent loosening of rules, allowing shops to open 7 Sundays a year instead of 2. The reform was ordered by Greece's lenders to boost sales and help pull the country's economy out of a 6-year recession. Small retailers, however, feared that a liberalization will instead raise their operating costs.
They're forcing businesses to stay open longer and spend more money, and so only a handful of multinationals will survive. And that is what the bailout and the government that serves it want.
In Greece, Sunday is traditionally a day for families to get together. Many employees say it will be very hard on them to have to work all weekend.
The other days of the week, our families aren't at home, so we can only really see them on Sundays.
While some shoppers understood protesters, they also find Sunday shopping quite convenient.
I wouldn't want to be a store clerk and work on a Sunday, but it's convenient for me since I work the rest of the week.
Greece's influential Orthodox Church is also opposed to working on the 7th day of the week, claiming the Sunday holiday, which was established in 1908, should be reserved for religious observance and rest. The tourist industry is also weighing in, saying that with 18.5 million tourists visiting the country every year, shops just don't have the luxury of staying shut on Sundays.
Julia Seeger reporting there. Well, let's get some of the day's company news now, and it's an important day for the smartphone maker Blackberry. Its biggest shareholder, Fairfax Financial Holdings, due to announce whether it plans to make a formal bid. Now, the company offered a deal in September worth $4.7 billion to take Blackberry private. Since then, other potential bidders, including Blackberry's original founders, are rumoured to have also been working on offers.
Annual profits at low-cost airline Ryanair are set to fall for the first time in 5 years. The Irish airline said competition in Europe will push prices down by 10% over the winter. Shares in Ryanair were down 10% at the opening in London this morning.
And Air France-KLM has denied that it wants to see 5,000 jobs go at Alitalia. Italian media had reported the cuts would be a condition for an increased investment in the struggling airline. Well, shares in Air France were down 1.5% at the Paris Open this morning.
Now, it may not be to everyone's taste, but some investors have found an interesting, if slightly grubby, way to make money.
Yeah, that's right. They say waste not, want not, don't they? And that seems to be the case when it comes to the byproduct, shall we say, of fast food restaurants, at least on the east coast of the United States. Now, one company has come up with a plan to use all that leftover cooking oil. And I warn viewers, there are some rather unpleasant pictures coming up of leftover cooking oil. They say that it can be transformed into biofuels to power cars and heat homes. One company there in the US already working with over 3,000 companies to collect all that gunge you can see there and turn it into something useful. But in fact, they're not the only ones who want to get their hands on it, it seems. Take a listen.
We have steel tanks with thick metal grates on the top. And we've seen as much as welders come in and actually cut holes in the grates so that they could access the oil and take it from us.
Moving slightly upmarket from cooking oil, one famous fashion house is selling off a chunk of its shares.
That's right. I thought I'd try to raise the tone at the end here. We'll talk about Versace, the Italian fashion group, which is still, in fact, a family-owned business. And they want to sell, it seems, around 30% or up to 30% of their shares in the company. Now, this is to fund their continued expansion around the world, because although Versace, of course, is known pretty much to everybody, it hasn't done as well as some of its peers in terms of getting the amount of sales and also the global reach that some of those have. So it's looking for bidders. Apparently the deadline is the end of November for anyone who's interested in taking this big chunk of those shares. We'll, of course, keep an eye on that.
Thank you, Matthew Moran, for the latest on business. Well, it's time now for our press review.